Hello, 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 everybody. It's your boy Christian Hannah Hara, and we're back with another episode of the Uneeda Hara podcast. Early morning edition. We're actually filming this day of because that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Nick, good morning.
Good morning.
How you feeling?
Dude, I'm tired. Passed out on my couch. Got woken up by Brooke at like 6 o'clock in the morning. She's like, come on, we're going to bed. And I was like, all right. And then got woken up to take care of my son. So I'm tired. How you doing?
Long day yesterday. I went all day without sleeping, got off work in the morning. I slept like a rock, though, so I'm good now, but God almighty, yesterday was brutal. I got off work around like 8 o'clock in the morning, came home, and I had to be in Shreveport, which is far away from where I live, and that was a long ride. So I got home and I was like, well, I can't go to sleep because if I sleep for an hour, I'm gonna be worthless. I'm gonna be absolutely worthless. So I just like watched The Wraith, and I was like, well, let me just do a review on that before I go. Went, played my gig, got home at like 11:30 at night. Just didn't sleep, and I didn't eat anything all day because sound check was a disaster. Took hours. It was a long day yesterday. But when I got home and got in that bed, you ever have one of those days where you keep going, and then like it's like you don't try to not eat all day or nothing, but you do, and then the way I could describe my body when I was driving home, I was telling Sydney, it's like I feel like the water is like I'm empty, and I could feel my bones dry in my back. Like I felt horrible, and when I finally ate, I was just like, I slept like a rock. When I fell on the bed, I instantly knocked right out. But I feel good now. I don't know. Like, I feel okay. So,
Well, I mean, that's good. You know, you took it to the limit, though. That's for
yeah.
sure.
All right, guys. So, today we're doing one of my favorite aesthetical things ever, horror movie posters. It's probably my at this moment, my second favorite love behind actual movies, like owning movies and stuff. I'm a big horror movie poster fan. I've got Shaka behind me, a Wes Craven classic. And I thought it would be really fun to do top 10 horror movie posters. Now, the rules for this there really weren't any. I gave, jokey rules to Nick. But it's really just our top 10 favorite horror movie posters. I joked with Nick. I was like, you're only limited to one Halloween poster, but I think you legitimately only picked one.
I only did. Yeah, one.
So the way I'm going to do this is we'll go through the list, and as whatever we mention, I'll bring it up on the screen so we can describe what we like about it, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the rule I placed for us was this. I said, now regardless, I don't know what Nick's list is, but for my list, I said the movie does not matter. It doesn't matter if the movie's good. The movie has nothing to do with it. It's all about the love of the poster art, the art of the poster art, if you will. So there is, I think, one movie in here, two movies actually. One of them I've been meaning to watch. I own it. And another one I don't own at all, but I love the poster. It's a classic poster. So here we go. I guess we're just going to get started. Nick, do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first?
You can go ahead and go first. Yeah. Are you going to go 10-1, or are you just going to say 10 and then bring it up?
Yeah. Number one, we got to save our favorites. Obviously, number one's more or less our favorites. So
yes.
All right. So let me pull up my number 10. Now, this is a movie that I own, but I haven't watched it yet because it just gets lost in the shuffle, and that's a crime. All right. So let me pull this up. My number 10 is a movie from the early 80s, and it is called Frightmare. Now, here's the poster. It says, "There is no escape, not even death." And from what I see, this is like a movie about like these people that it looks like almost a haunted house type movie. And there's these people that love these old school horror icons, and they try to resurrect one of them. That's what the trailer looked like. And Vinegar Syndrome put out a Blu-ray of this. There's an alternate poster actually right here, which is what is on my 88 Films Blu-ray, where it's got a coffin and all these hands around it. But I am a big fan of the hand holding the skull with the snake and knife through it. You've got the haunted house in the background, the graveyard aesthetic, very classic, very old school, very just it makes me want to watch the movie so bad. So
That's it's metal. That thing
it
just looks
is.
metal.
It's beautiful. So this is actually a play off of a previous poster called From Beyond the Grave. And
Yeah, yeah.
let me show you
Okay.
From Beyond the Grave real quick for
Yeah, I'm
people
pretty
that
sure I know exactly what you're talking about.
not From Beyond the Grave. Why is it? Oh, yeah, it's because it auto searched it. Now I love From Beyond the Grave. Now here is that. I actually have the Blu-ray, and look, this is the Blu-ray
Yep.
from Beyond the Grave, but it got recycled for Frightmare, and something about Frightmare I just liked a little bit better. I like the black, obviously, and I just think it's a great classic poster. So I'm actually excited to watch the movie because it looks like my cup of tea. I've owned it for quite some time, and it's just gotten lost in the shuffle. But my number 10 is the classic poster Frightmare from 1983.
Okay. Like I said, that's metal as hell. I have not seen the movie. I've definitely heard of it though. I haven't seen that either. So let me know how that is once you see it.
I will. I will.
Because that might be something I'd pick up. But
Hmm.
my number 10 is so my list, I do like all 10 of these films. So and it's not just that's not why. Um a lot of these posters I either have them or I want them, or as soon as I saw, I mean, for me, like a trailer can get me hyped for sure. But when I go to a movie theater and a movie's coming out later in the year and they have the poster out there and I see that poster when I go see another movie, and I'm like, oh my God, like I've got to see that movie when it comes out. Like a few of these posters were that, an instance of that. Well, maybe only like two, because a lot of them came out before I was alive. But number 10 is the original Silent Night, Deadly Night. um, and for me, with the reason why I like this so much, and again, it's very simplistic. But when you're playing on the Christmas aesthetic and that time of year, obviously Santa Claus coming down the chimney, and I always just loved that shot of the chimney. It's dark. It's Christmas Eve. It's snowing, and then you just got the hand with the bloody axe coming out, like Santa just went down there, did his business, and now he's leaving.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what it is about the poster that has always been like it's one that I have told myself I have to get, and I know it's very simplistic. There isn't a ton going on in it, but I think it just nails that movie,
It's
and
creepy.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. That almost made my list, man. Yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I think that's one of the best 80s slashers, period, much
Yep.
less a Christmas, movie. I love Silent Night, Deadly Night. That is a great, great poster. I
Yep.
would own that one too. I don't have it. I don't know why. Probably because it's a Christmas poster, as silly as that sounds, but like regardless, I really want that one day.
Well, you
It
rotate, don't you? You'll take some down for a little bit and put another one up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that one is actually on the website I use often, movie posters, movieposters.com. And their 27 by 40s are all the same price. They're $20. And you can get 11 by 17s for $4.95 off there. And they all look really great. They use good high quality reproduction paper, whatever. I don't know what kind of material it is, but my reprints I get from them have fooled people. I when I got Saturday the 14th, hey, is that an original? I said it looks like it, don't it? It's not though. But
Yeah.
yeah, great one. Great poster.
That's another thing I'm about to have to start doing now that I think about it is probably rotating some posters, because I have 4 27 by 40s that I haven't framed yet, and they're not even on the wall yet. Um,
It's addicting. It's
yeah,
very much
I keep
addicting.
buying.
All
But
right,
yeah,
Nick.
number 10, Silent Night, Deadly
Yeah.
Night.
All right, my number 9. One of my favorite films from the 1980s. Now, I guess I should preface this because you kind of talked about what yours was. I am a fan of just beautiful pieces of art. Most of the time, they're drawings, they're paintings. That's my thing. Uh, I'm just a big fan of art, and I think you'll notice that with my list. I love artwork, drawing style. Not always, but mostly. But my number 9 is the 1980s Fred Decker classic, The Monster Squad. Talk
Oh
about
yeah.
a classic poster right there. Look at that. So,
Hmm.
so you've what I love about this is obviously Dracula is dead center in the middle because he is the king of horror to me, one of my favorite characters of all time. But you've got the cast. It's very it reminds me of the Goonies a little bit. You've got your kids sitting on the hood of the car. The Monster Squad. I'm a big fan of the font of the Monster Squad. I'm a big fan of like cool fonts, so I always love the font that they use for the Monster Squad, and then the tagline. You know who to call when you have ghosts, but who do you call when you have monsters? So, and then you've got your in the skyline you've got your almost what do you call it, your what is that big rock thing with the faces on it that people always say who was on your what is that
Mount
thing called?
Rushmore.
That
Mount
it's kind of
Rushmore.
like a Mount Rushmore thing, but you've got all the classic horror monsters: Frankenstein, the Mummy, Dracula, Wolfman, and the creature from the Black Lagoon, which is what they're all supposed to be, but they don't really flat out say it in the movie because they're skirting licensing,
Yeah.
obviously. But what a great poster! I've actually got that one against the door right there. So big fan of the Monster Squad poster. That's probably my favorite Fred Decker movie. It's close with Night of the Creeps. It is so close. But I think the Monster Squad is my favorite. But what a great poster. Can't to me, you gotta love it. You just gotta love it.
Yeah. Can you imagine how expensive that would have been to just flat out say all the names and not try to skirt licenses? Like, you know
Oh,
what?
oh, millions,
Yeah.
millions.
All those classic monsters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good pick, man. This is my number 9 is easily probably my favorite poster from this franchise, and this might surprise people, but I think a lot of people agree it may have thrown us for a loop and lied to us, but it's a good poster nonetheless.
Here we go.
And this is the one from Halloween that I'm picking, and not the original Halloween. So my number 9 is Halloween 5. Now everybody knows I love this movie, but this poster is just mean. I love the poster. You have obviously the shot from the set of the 78 mask, just like Halloween 4 did to us. So it's not the mask in the movie, but you've got Jamie and the knife, and they're literally intertwined. And I've always loved that look, like, the
Yeah.
knife forming into Jamie, Michael behind it. Um, very simple poster, but I've always really dug that poster. And yeah, my love of the movie definitely plays a role into that for sure. But that's a 27 by 40 that I have, that it has not gone up on the wall yet until I get it framed. And I don't know why. I used to have an 11 by 17 of it when I was a teenager, that and Halloween 4, and they both got ruined because I didn't care as much about posters moving years ago like I do now. And I've always loved it. I've always loved that poster. A lot of people would say the original Halloween, with the jack-o'-lantern and the knife. And yeah, no, that's cool. Don't get me wrong. I also really love Halloween Kills poster. I know it's super, it's very straightforward, but I love that poster. But Halloween 5, man, I think that's my favorite Halloween poster.
I agree. I dig it too. You know that there are mask makers out there that actually replicate the look of this mask here that you see on Halloween 4 and 5. It's kind of got like the higher arched lip on
Yeah.
it with the smirk. I've seen like mask makers. They create literally this mask, and it's a big seller for them. So I wouldn't mind having one of those. I always like the look of that mask. I like 5, man. I like the poster for 4 and 5 a lot, quite frankly. I never really paid that much attention to Jamie, so I am now noticing that she's part of the Blade, which makes me feel silly because I've looked at I own this one I have a 27 by 40 of this one myself, but I've never really, I guess, looked at it hard enough to realize.
Mhm.
But very clever, very
Yeah.
clever. So big fan of that one. That's a great choice. That I'm actually glad that you picked that one. I thought you're going to pick 6, which I like too, but this is a much very 80s, very classic. I
Yeah,
always
6
like,
just doesn't have a lot going on. It's just a blue face.
yeah, looks great blown up though, but
Yeah, I have a 27 by 40 of that too, and the thing is beautiful. But This, yeah, like you said, this is cheesier. This is 80s. I
Yeah.
dig it.
Okay. So my number 8 is a film from Lucio Fulci, one of the great maestros of Italian horror cinema. Some would say the greatest. I would agree, quite frankly. He did a movie called City of the Living Dead, but it was also known as The Gates of Hell. And this poster is just so evocative and gorgeous. The
Oh
Gates of
man.
Hell poster. And what's so beautiful about it is you see this toxic skyline. It looks morbid. It's green. It's gross. And then the dead shall rise and walk the earth. And you see the city, and you see this decrepit zombie head. And on the poster, what's so beautiful about it is it actually says on the lower third, this film contains scenes which may be considered shocking, and no one under 17 will be admitted. How do you not want to watch that movie? The Gates of Hell is a great film. Some consider it Lucio's best work, and it's hard to argue that. I am a proponent of Zombie over this one, but The Gates of Hell is an absolute fan favorite, and it's one of the only few times I think a poster matches when a poster is that good and it matches the movie. Gorgeous art. Some of these Italian movies have the best posters imaginable, and The Gates of Hell is a beauty. I haven't bit the bullet on getting a print of this one yet, but it's a matter of time because every time I look at it, I'm like, holy smokes, that thing is beautiful. Look at it. All the greens in the sky. I just love it. So, again, another art piece that I'm a big fan of. That's the style I really, really love. So, The Gates of Hell had to make this list.
Yeah, it's that color palette. I really like that color palette. That's really cool. I've never
Mhm.
seen that poster before, and I know I've not really introduced myself to Fulci, and I've been chastised for it, and rightfully so. That's a filmmaker I need to get into and see some of his stuff because, as Christian has put it to me, you think you know gore until you see Italian gore,
Mhm.
and nothing matches it. So
I really think so. And this film has some blisteringly great nightmarish scenes. Lucio doesn't care about reality. He loves to just put nightmares into movies. Sometimes you're trying to understand where he's coming from when he's going to this part because it seems some of his stuff is so out of context, but he doesn't care about reality. He's all about making his film seem nightmarish and great. And so in the poster, I love it because it is a nightmare. So great stuff. That's a
yeah.
great one to get into. It's also known as City of the Living Dead. If you come across it online, which is on Shutter, I think it's called City of the Living Dead on Shutter. Which that's a great poster all into itself. It's an alternate poster called City of the Living Dead. But the Gates of Hell poster is the masterpiece. The Gates of Hell. Talk about a name for a movie.
Yeah.
Can't beat that. But yeah, that's my number 8, man. Where are we going next?
So my number 8 is the one film that I can remember in my life that was one of the posters I saw being displayed at theaters when I would go to theaters, and I was like, gotta see it, gotta see it. It it blends the first film into the new one, which gets you hyped for the new one because you're remembering the love for the old one. And number 8 is Doctor Sleep. And first and foremost about this poster, what I love about it so much is the color. I love the red and the black, and I think the red's really vibrant in the poster. Um, on top of that, like I said, it's homaging the old while leading you into the new. You have little Danny on the tricycle going down the hallway, and then adult Danny at the end of the hallway.
Mm.
And I don't know if it was because it is, as soon as I see it, I remember The Shining and I remember Danny Torrance on his trike going through the hallways. I mean, that kid was going fast as hell too. I don't know if it's the colors. I don't know exactly what it is, like the one thing, but a mixture of all of those things. I love the poster. I don't own the poster, and I need to rectify that. But yeah, I love that poster.
Very, very classic. I like that poster too. I don't remember. If it's weird, I remember seeing this one in the theater, but okay, now I understand. This was a
Yeah.
teaser poster.
Mm-hmm.
But
And that
yeah,
one's cool too. And I love the yellow in that. Yellow, purple, and yellow are my favorite colors. So like I love the yellow in that, and I love obviously the homage. Oh, here's Johnny. But dude, that red poster, I don't know what it is. I look at it and I'm literally like transported to hell. I think because
yeah,
you think about the Overlook, and you're like, it's the spirits everywhere. That place is haunted as hell. You got the red. You got this little helpless kid going down a tricycle. And I'm like, this kid's in hell. And he doesn't even know it. And I don't know, man. I've always dug it.
yeah. Good pick. Very good pick. Okay, we're going on to number 7.
Yes.
We're sticking in the 19. Well, I think everything's been in the 1980s for me so far. Yeah, sticking with the 1980s. Um, this to me is probably the most, you know, splatterpunk poster in the world. One of the most splatterpunk movies, quite frankly. It's a movie called Street Trash, and it's a great little
Oh yeah.
flick about basically killer liquor that bums would drink. They'd get this cheap liquor from a store, and it would literally melt your body, and you would explode. And there's a famous scene where a guy melts into a toilet, and he turns all into all these colors. And I mean, the Street Trash poster is classic. You've got the guy right here coming out of the toilet as he's melting. You got the pink font. Just great art. The Street Trash poster is. I mean, that makes me want to watch the movie so bad. What a great poster! And I always look on the tagline. It actually says up here, Eraserhead meets Night of the Living Dead on the set of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So talk about a way to sell your movie.
Yeah.
Great quote. So the Street Trash poster is one of my favorites.
Yeah, like you said, that's very punk. That's very that I like that. I like that. That looks
Yeah.
like something that you would see. I don't know if it's the font or whatever, but like you could see that graffitied under a bridge.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
like that, yeah.
yeah.
That
And I
is
don't know
cool.
if this is exactly the original poster. I think it is because I'm seeing another one that has the Street Trash logo. Okay, here's the actual original poster right here, and it's got Street Trash in yellow. Uh, but still, it's the same thing. Just great, beautiful poster. Love it. Street Trash is a classic. So that is my number 7.
All right. Well, my number 7, we're going to go back in time to the 80s again. A lot of these are from the 80s. And this one, we're going to have one on our list that we both agree with. I know it for a fact, but I don't know if this one will be on yours. But my number 7 is John Carpenter's The Thing. Um, this poster is just it gives you vibes of like obviously sci-fi. It gives you vibes of horror. It gives you vibes of action. It's like so there's not a lot going on and a ton going on at the same
Mm-hmm.
time because you're looking at it. This person just standing there and just the light just beaming out of all different directions from this face, and you're like, what is going on? Like
Yeah.
if you had not seen a trailer, I imagine in 1980 when this came out, if you saw that poster, you'd be like, what is this movie about? I mean, you may have seen The Thing from Outer Space, so maybe you'd know, but like if you were a casual, you'd be like, what the hell is this? I love the blue. I love the blue, and that it's like a whitish blue, which is I think underappreciated sometimes, that it's literally telling you like where this movie takes place too. It feels like the setting of the movie. And it's just very ominous and it's very mysterious. You have no idea what that is. And for me, that would pique my interest as a casual moviegoer of being like, okay, what is this about?
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved that poster. I'm pretty sure you own that. Am I right?
Not yet, but I bought a print of it. I bought a print of
Okay.
it. Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Love it. It's very evocative with the eye beaming out of the face.
Mhm.
The hand positions, like they're not in control. Whoever that is, they're not in
Yep.
control anymore. They're being taken over. The ultimate in alien terror. Great. I like I like good taglines and stuff, and that one's just straightforward and to the point. The ultimate in alien terror. So yeah, great poster. I love the Thing poster. Every time I get a release of the Thing, no matter what format it is, I always like to have that artwork showing because it works, and it's a nice, beautiful painting that's hand drawn and all that. And so Even the logo, as simple as it is, it's just like a chunky letter thing. The Thing. It's perfect.
Yeah. Looks like you
The
could have
It's tiny,
just made it in Microsoft Word, like the
but it
thing.
works. It
Yeah.
works perfectly. So I'm a big. It's not on my list, but I'm a big fan of that poster. Big fan of it. Let's see. Number 6. Now here's a movie I have not seen. I don't think it has a Blu-ray yet. I'm hoping somebody can, if they see this, they can point me in that direction if there's something I can get. My number 6 is a movie called Cheerleader Camp. I love
Uh,
this poster. You've got, your cheerleader with the skeleton face. She's up in the air with her pom poms. Give me a K, give me an
mhm.
I, give me an L, give me an L. I mean, I haven't seen this movie. I'm sure that it's somewhere out there. It may be on Tubi because it seems like a lot of that stuff is on Tubi. But I've got to see this movie. I want to own this poster. Cheerleader Camp. It's every time I search 80s horror movie posters, this always just comes right up every
Yeah.
time, and I see why. It's classic. I mean, Cheerleader Camp. I got to see this movie, but I love this poster so much.
I've never seen the movie, but I've seen the poster a lot too. And I don't know if it's just because it's found a cult following now from the 80s. Maybe at the time it wasn't very well received. But shout out to Jill. I think she was watching this last night. I think she posted that on her Instagram. So Jill, let us know how this movie is. But yeah, I think it's a really cool 80s cheesy poster too. And I've heard Justin talk about it, and I'm just like, I figured you would have seen it. Honestly, I haven't seen it. I figured you would have seen it.
I know. I haven't. I don't really know why. And the more I look in the background at the poster, I'm noticing weird stuff. There's a guy in a chicken suit back here. There's like a green goblin monster getting chased right here. Uh, just yeah. I don't know. So, but
Yeah.
I love this poster. I love the skeleton face. So, I'll have to see it. I have to figure out where it's available to watch. If I can't own it, I can't own it. But I want to see Cheerleader
Have
Camp.
you looked for a physical copy of it?
I'm sure on Amazon I've typed it in and nothing's come up.
Yeah.
I'll take a DVD, but I really just want to see it at this point. But I love the poster. I love it's my wallpaper on my phone a lot of times. So, um, one of those things where I just love. I know the poster every cell of. I love the poster so much, and I'm always talking about it, but I've never seen the movie. So I have to fix that soon. But that is my
Yeah.
number 6, Cheerleader Camp.
All right. So my number 6 is if I'm going to look at this and make sure that I get this statement right. Yeah. So it's the last movie that well not the it's the only the second movie that I have that's like a modern day movie.
Mhm.
And number 6 is The Descent. Uh and not the poster of I believe her name is Sarah. Yes, not the poster of Sarah coming out of the water. I'm talking about that one right there.
Oh yeah.
That poster. I love those cannibal creatures, whatever the hell they are, like in formation, creating a skull, and then the yellow hue, the light behind that. And again, like with the thing, the font, very, very straightforward. Just The Descent. There's nothing. They're not trying to be like, wow, look how crazy our lettering is. And the poster's the same way. 50% of it's just black, and the image is right in the center. And it's another poster where if you didn't watch a trailer and you look at this poster, you're like, what the hell is going on there?
Mhm.
That would pique your interest. That piqued my interest, and that was actually what got me to watch that movie in like '04, right after it came out on DVD. And just watched it a few months ago for the first time in like 15 years, and still holds up. I mean, or maybe it was '06 when that came out. It was '06, I think. So yeah, it'd been over 10 years since I'd watched it. Love the movie, but that poster, I mean, there's something to be said about being simplistic while also being very mysterious. And that poster does that.
Yeah, big fan of The Descent too. Love that poster. That's a great modern. I think that's one of the few times where a poster can really capture a vibe that the movie has. Because nowadays a lot of posters are just images from the movie. The classic. Everybody's like lined up with their just looking at a camera kind of thing.
Halloween
And this is one
Resurrection.
of the yeah, this is one of those posters that I think actually captures an essence that the film legitimately has. So that's a great one. I love that movie so much too.
Yeah, not to mention it's, I think, undoubtedly, in my opinion, a modern horror classic. I really think that's one of the best horror movies to come out of the last 15, 20 years. So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Great pick. All right, number 5. Moving along. We're halfway there.
oh,
All right, so my number 5, if I can spell it correctly, is a poster that when I was looking up really great poster art, I found one that I fell in love with. I own this movie now. I bought this movie. I watched this movie. I love this movie. The 1980s classic Mausoleum. I
yes.
love this poster so much. It looks so great. When I got that put in the horror room, I told myself nothing is getting rid of this poster. I mean, it's beautiful. You've got the skeleton in front of the mausoleum holding it tight. And again, talk about a great tagline. Centuries of evil have just awakened. I mean, you
Yeah.
gotta love that. You gotta love it.
I saw you post that on your Instagram, and I was like, "Oh man, that looks good. I like
It's a
that a lot."
That's a beauty. I mean, you can't if you see that at the video store growing up, you're renting that,
Yeah,
you know. So, Mausoleum
it's
had to make my list.
color palette, the style of artwork for it. It almost looks. It might be hand drawn, but it almost looks hand drawn. Um, you got blues. Is there some purple back there?
Yeah, I see a bunch
Yeah,
of blue. It's like there's hues of blue. What's funny is on my poster that I have, my print, the skyline is a darker blue. It's really a darker blue with a hue of white shades coming off of the skeleton. But on this poster right here, I don't know which one is more authentic looking. I would assume this. But this one you can see the tints of pinks and
yeah,
blues and yellows in the background. I mean, granted, my poster is beautiful and it looks great, but this one has a little bit more shading and different shades in the skyline. But I don't know. It's a gorgeous. Regardless, it's gorgeous. The font for the word mausoleum, it's dripping blood from the M's. You could see the smoke and the dew coming out of the mausoleum itself. You can't beat that. I mean, that's probably one of the best posters from the '80s, and I mean that's why it's on my list. I love the poster for Mausoleum.
yeah. That's a nice poster.
Yeah,
What is that? Number 5?
yeah, that
Yeah, it
was
was
my number
5.
5.
All right. So number 5 for me is very cheesy, but very captures the tone of the movie. That is Tom Holland's Fright Night. Um, I think everybody has seen this poster, even if you haven't seen the movie. And if you haven't seen the movie, shame on you. Rectify that. Um, just look at that. The clouds forming. What with. I believe it's supposed to. Is that supposed to be Dandridge?
Well, that's the girlfriend gets that
It's
mouth.
Amy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's
So
that's really what that was.
So Amy, like when she has that iconic scene where she kind of her face is all, you guys know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. It's like that shot into the clouds over the house. It's like captures the very isolated suburban vibe. It's the way I perceive that poster is basically a storm is coming to this little suburban town. It's just a nice, quiet neighborhood, normal everything, and then vampire comes and yeah, he's trying to bring his race back, and I don't know, man. It's the colors too. I'm a sucker for blue.
Me too.
Um, but yeah, I've always loved that poster and that face. That face is ew.
Yeah,
So yeah, I love
it's
that poster.
weird. It's weird how we planned this out. I almost my number 4, believe it or not, was actually Fright Night as well. So it's funny that you picked yours for your number 5 because I'm right here. I almost picked Fright Night 2 because it is a great. I mean, I may as well pull it up. Fright Night 2 has a very similar poster, and I was actually gifted a Fright Night 2 poster that's beautiful. Now the Fright Night 2 poster is very similar,
Yep.
but it has the apartment building because the sequel takes place in like a dorm room apartment building, so that you get the same kind of deal. And I love that, but something about the home, just the suburban home in the original Fright Night, like that to me is what I really love the most. They're both great. I mean, first of all, Fright Night 2 is a great movie too. I love it, but Fright Night's still like my favorite. I think Fright Night 2 is like a 9.9, and Fright Night 2 is a perfect 10. But they're both great films and great posters. I just love the suburban area. There's no houses around it. It's like hell has come to your home and you got to deal with it. So wow, very very weird how my number 4 was the same thing. But yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I guess let's go straight to your number 4 now, since that was mine.
All right. My number 4 is, I'm not going to say it's his best film because it's not. Although I think it's his scariest film. Toby
That's mine.
Hooper's Poltergeist. Again, this is one of the most simplistic posters I've ever seen. Really, it is very straightforward. It is Carol Ann touching the TV. They're here, but that it's a microcosm of the movie. It completely
Yeah.
encapsulates what that movie is going to be about, and I love the black and white look to it. And there's alternate versions of it that are like blue, and but I absolutely love that poster, and I don't know. I just feel like, because for me, and I'm sure you remember this too, as a kid, especially with those old box TVs, you know, the white noise, the static from this movie, since when I saw this as a kid, that terrified me. That stuff terrified me. And you'd fall asleep watching a VHS, or you'd fall asleep watching something on your old TV, and you'd wake up and what is it? The static, the white noise is going on in the TV. And I immediately thought, oh, they're going to come get me and I'm going to get transported to another dimension. But I just love the poster, and it's this. I think this is the original, the one you pulled up. Yeah.
Original.
Yeah, not superimposed. And I love this one too, because it's also, again, kind of tells you what the movie's going to be about. She's so far away in the poster. And Carol Ann, the whole movie, she's so far, yet she's so close. And I love the poster. I've always
That's a
loved it.
great
It's
pick. Yeah.
one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. It still creeps me out at damn near 27. So
Yeah. I rewatched Poltergeist a few days ago. Probably, I say a few days. It was probably a week ago now, but I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. I love the clown scene. Great stuff.
the face ripping scene too, dude, that always got under my skin.
Yeah, yeah.
That's gross.
I love that poster. It's very simple. Again, big fan of the cool font. It's just like the outline of the letters, and I like the black and white better.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
because the Blu-rays and stuff have gotten that blue tint to it and things like
Mhm.
that. But I prefer the original black and white style. So
Yeah.
yeah, can't go wrong there. All right,
Top 3, man.
my number 3 is the 1980s classic Chopping Mall. Now, this is the exact poster there's a couple alternates. You've got the zombie hand holding the grocery bag, or not grocery bag, the shopping bag. But I'm a fan of the robot hand, which is a little bit more honest about what the movie is. I like the robot hand holding the bag, where you can see the woman's face in the bottom and the eyeballs at the top. Half off is just the beginning. So I love the movie Chopping Mall so much, but of all the Chopping Mall posters, that's my favorite one. Great font with the letters, the dripping blood and stuff. Chopping Mall, man. It's one of the only movies that's been so dishonest, but people don't care. They just love it. So
Yeah, that's a cool poster. I've I never noticed the tagline though until you just said that. That's awesome.
yeah, and then at the top it says "Buy or Die," which again nobody's buying anything because they're at a mall overnight, so
Yeah.
everything's closed. But Nobody cared. I mean, at least nobody cares anymore. Maybe back in the day, people cared when they went to go see this movie and they were like, nothing's getting chopped, everything's
Yeah.
getting lasered. But hey, you know what? It's got a cult following, and it's a great poster. I like all of them, quite frankly, but that's my favorite one because it's a little bit more honest because it's a robot hand,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
but it's beautiful.
yeah, it is. Uh, this top three was pretty hard for me because I we're gonna have one in this top three as well that we both agree with. But I'm gonna do this one as my number three, and that's Jaws. And it's, I mean, come on, like that goes without saying. That poster is just awesome. I mean, it's just again, and it makes you, the poster alone would make you scared of the ocean. You don't even
Yeah.
have to see the movie because you're wondering like, oh, how many times have you swam in the ocean? What if there was a giant great white lurking right beneath you, about to come up and bite you in half? It's it's that the tone of the poster and what it's portraying, but also I love just the red. I've always loved that font and the color of it at the top, just Jaws. And
Yeah.
just like the movie, the poster is very straightforward. But I think there's something to be said for us as humans and the fear we have of the unknown. And one of those fears is the fear of the unknown of the open ocean.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just love it. I love it. I am ashamed of myself that I do not own a big 27 by 40 of that. But yeah, and I know for a fact you got to have one. I think you have one.
I don't have a Jaws 27 by 40 poster. I have a Jaws shower curtain. So my shower
Okay.
curtain is this poster. I have a plaque of it that's in my bag. It's like a plaque poster. It's like one of those plaques you can get from FYA.
Yeah.
One of those things. I have that, and I have a Jaws bathroom. So I have the Jaws shower curtain. I've got a picture of Hooper, Brody, and Quint sitting at the table in his boat when they were singing the songs together,
Yeah.
sharing stories and scars. I have a picture of that in my bathroom. So I kind of do. I've got the plaque of it. I have a shower curtain of this poster. And what's funny is on my shower curtain, you can see like the woman's nipples and all on the shower curtain. Obviously, on the poster, it's very blended in and shaded out from the motion, literally the motion of the ocean, the way she's swimming. So they kind of blur it, which is still a little bit of a racy poster for being a
PG,
PG
man.
film.
Yeah.
But granted, there was no PG-13 at the time either. But uh, yeah, great. It's not on my list. Not that. And the rule I set, I know, I set myself a rule. The movies do not matter. It's strictly poster art. But
Yeah.
obviously, this is a case where I think the poster does match the quality of the film too. It's classic. But I'll tell you, I actually like the Jaws 2 poster more with the girl skiing and then the shark flying out of the I guess I could pull it up real quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say pull that up. I mean, I
I
know
actually
exactly what
like
you're talking about.
yeah. I don't know. Like I like this one even more with the shark booking it out of the water. Like holy crap, man!
Yeah.
They're both great. I mean, they're both great posters. But I would put either one or two in this horror room gladly. For Jaws, I think they're both fantastic. But I think I like two a little bit more, to be honest with you.
Yeah. That actually, now that you talk, yeah, that's pretty creepy.
Yeah. But hey,
Looks a
Jaws
little
is a
more.
great pick.
Yeah.
It's not on my
Yeah.
list though.
That's fine. I think my number one, I don't know if it'll be your two or your one, but I think this is going to be on there. But
I
whatever.
don't
I
know.
could be wrong. I could be wrong. So,
This is number two. We're going to number two, right?
yes, sir.
All right, my number two is the 1980 classic Maniac.
Oh,
You've got I mean, look at this. He's holding a decapitated head. There's blood dripping on him. Blood. His hands on a knife. He's bulging out of his pants because the movie is very sensual, very sexual. This is a guy that's aroused by what he's doing. The poster absolutely captures the insanity of this movie. One of the greatest. I mean, it's unequivocally a slasher film, but there's more to it. There's this psychological element to it. Not that slasher films are, in general, don't have extra elements to them. Some of them are simply kids having fun, getting killed. But there are some that really just push the boundaries of what that genre can do, that subgenre specifically. And Maniac is one of the best examples. Beautiful poster, but like it's a very it's a gross out poster in a way because there's a lot going on. So I never bought
Yeah.
Maniac. I don't know why. I've subconsciously I've always said that's too rough to hang up. But I mean, it's undeniable that Maniac has to be my second favorite at this moment in time. I think it's just one of the best ever. Just so gross. So I warned you
Funny that
not
you
to go out
mentioned
at
that.
night, or I want you not to go out tonight. I mean, that's a hell of a tagline.
Hmm. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I came across that poster the other day when I was like gearing up for this and writing notes, and I was like, man, that is a. I remember like stopping on that poster. I mean, like, damn, that's a good
It's
poster.
brutal.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my
Well,
number two, and I again matches the quality of the movie. Not that it was necessary for this because it's about the art of the poster, but just have to put that out there. What classic film?
yeah. My number two is The Exorcist, and this poster is so much going on and not so much and nothing going on in it at the same time. And after having seen the movie, you understand. First of all, the purple. I mean, let's just talk about the purple. Now I know darn well that Christian is a sucker for the purple. So,
Big
and I am
time.
too. It's my favorite color. And to see the father standing there and looking up at what he's about to go into,
Oh
and
man,
just the light illuminating onto him, and that's it. You get a street light and the light illuminating him, leading him. Here's your path to hell, basically, and not knowing what you're getting yourself into. And that poster, I mean, I will get it, and when I get it, I want to get the purple. I don't want. Yeah, I do like I don't mind the ones that are a little more superimposed and a little brightened up and stuff like that. But that's the one I want. I want that original right there. I mean,
it's a
it
great
could be a
one.
reprint. Yeah, but that I love that poster. Love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you notice in the latest Conjuring movie, they homaged the
Yep.
poster in the beginning, which was a very cool shot in that film. But yeah,
Hmm.
that's a classic. The Exorcist, again, purple fan. So I always loved that was the color of the font for The Exorcist. This is when I typed in original poster, like I see this one. Then I see this. This is a day bill though, so this is like those Australian types. They're skinny and
Yeah.
long, which very could well be exactly what they had here. But it looks like the original Exorcist poster. Yeah, original one sheet. This was it for The
Yep.
Exorcist. William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist. Classic. Can't. That's great.
Yeah.
Great choice. I don't think we had any besides Friday Night. We're probably gonna have. That's gonna be the only ones that we've matched. So the interesting thing about my list is everybody's probably seen. I've been a big fan of art, all these colors and stuff like this. But my number one is one of the most simplest posters in the world, but I absolutely love it. And it's my favorite werewolf movie. My number one
Uh,
poster is the classic The Howling. I
mhm.
love the poster for The Howling. I have it right there. I just love it. The claw hand tearing through. It looks like a paper bag almost. It's just like mesh. I think it's supposed to be skin almost. And then you see that mouth yelling for help. And
Mhm.
I just love it. I love the font of The Howling. Imagine your worst fear or reality. I just think it's so scary. It's my favorite, one of my favorites ever. At this moment, I guess it's my number one. Huge fan of the poster for The Howling. I just don't think there's the great debate between American Werewolf in London and The Howling because they're from the same year and they're two juggernaut films. And it's a toss up. There's a lot of people that pick American Werewolf. There's other people that pick The Howling. There's no debate on which poster is better.
Yeah.
The Howling is the best between the two because American Werewolf is two guys looking at a moon. The Howling is the best. So my number one, love the poster. And there's actually, I'll show this real quick. There's a UK version that for some reason when it came out over there, they didn't want the woman's mouth, so they actually had a snout of a wolf right there breaking through the ripping through with the actual claw hands too. But I prefer the American classic with the woman yelling. So The Howling is my number one.
That's a good pick. I also really really like that poster. Funny thing about The Howling is, for the longest time when I was a child, the only Howling movie I had seen was the Marsupials.
I
And
love the
I just
marsupials.
thought, I just thought that was The Howling, like the intent until I was a teenager. I was like, that wasn't the first one, and my mom was like, no. I was like,
No,
wow.
D Wallace is
Um,
great in the original. I love it.
oh yeah. Uh, my number one is a poster that Christian, if I'm not mistaken, got a few weeks ago. So I want you to rack your brain real quick and think about, what posters have I gotten recently? What movies does Nick love? Again, a very simplistic poster. Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead. My favorite horror poster, probably of all time. Probably my favorite movie poster, period, of all time. And I am not ashamed to say it. That that poster is just mean. I mean, you just have the hand coming up from the ground, pulling you to hell.
It's great.
Um, I love the fact that it's like at an angle. I love the blue in the background. I love the reaching out for help. There's who's going to help you? No one's there, and just getting pulled down beneath the earth.
By the
Very
neck.
symbolic. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very symbolic of the movie. And I love the poster. I mean, it is so simple and straightforward, but it's mean, and I love it. I love it.
That's a great one. I love it too. Obviously, I love it. Big fan of blues. So blues on posters are. I'm a sucker for it. Um, that I struggled to put this on the list. I did. It's probably top 12 if it didn't make my top 10. I just again, I'm a big fan. I'm a big sucker for great, beautiful paintings and artwork styles. But this is one of them too. Obviously, this is not a picture. This was drawn, and it's great. It's so good. So that would have been an honorable mention for me. Another honorable mention was the 1990 Night of the Living Dead. Big fan of that poster
Yeah.
too. There's a few more. If I would have picked a Halloween poster, uh, I definitely would have gone with I'll pull it up. A big
Oh
fan of
yeah.
Halloween too with the jack o' lantern, the skull jack o' lantern.
Uh-huh.
All new,
All new. Never
but
understood. Yeah.
yeah, great number one. Evil Dead's a great choice, but I guess a couple of honorable mentions I would just mention real quick. Obviously, Evil Dead would have been mine. I love Halloween too. Um, I'm sure there's a couple more honorable mentions I could think of, but at the time, those would have been two of them. Great ones. But do you have any last minute honorable mentions I could bring up? Or
Yeah, I have two that I struggled to put on the list, and I ended up not. The original Pet Cemetery, um, and oh God, I just had it, and I saw it on the shelf. Where's it at? Where's it at? Oh my
was the Pet
Lord! How did I
Cemetery?
forget it? Yeah, I've always loved that, and House of the Devil. Um, and that's another modern-ish horror movie, but I love that poster. And there's a lot of posters of it, so there's a lot of variations. Yeah, that poster, love that poster.
Yeah, it's
Um,
a good one.
those were two on my mind that I was like, should I do it? Also, honestly, Evil Dead 2013, that was another one that I really liked. The bummer about the Evil Dead series is, you have the Evil Dead, which is my favorite poster. You have Army of Darkness, which is so cheesy and great. You have Evil Dead 2013, which is a very brutal poster. And then you have, although Evil Dead 2 is my favorite film and in the franchise, that poster is really boring. Like, it's just a
The
skull.
skull.
Yeah, it's almost like every other poster in the series was like, kind of multi-layered. There was some stuff going on, and this one is just superimposed skull. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. I don't dislike
Yeah,
it, but I'm just like
it's not
compared to
my
the other
favorite.
three. Yeah.
It's not it's yeah, I like the first Evil Dead poster leaps and bounds better. My favorite when anybody asks me, "Hey, what's your favorite Army of Darkness poster?" I always go that one where you see Sam Raimi, not Sam Raimi, when you see whenever you see I have it. I have a print of this. It's the one where this one. This is my favorite Army of Darkness poster.
Oh
I
yeah.
think this was the original one, and then they ended up going with the play on Lampoon's Vacation kind of thing.
Mhm.
But the original, where he's jacked as hell, got his chainsaw, his boomstick, and then there's Bill Moseley, who was one of the leaders in the movie, and then you see the literal army down there. That's a great one, and the beautiful reds in there. So last minute, one more. Speaking of simple posters,
Yeah, I
uh,
was gonna say we haven't even gone an hour, man. So if you got
yeah,
another one,
I'm a
throw it.
big fan of the classic Leprechaun poster where he's creeping through the door. Man, obviously the font is very fitting for the movie. The
Almost picked that one
Leprechaun.
too. I really
Uh,
did. I almost picked that one.
Dude, the first three are great. Like, there's part two where he's got the candle. Obviously, he never holds a candle in the movie, but and part three's good. But theatrically, like I'm a big fan of the classic Leprechaun. Obviously, Your Luck Just Ran Out writes itself because it's a movie about a
Mhm.
leprechaun. But I always loved him creeping through the door, like, "Hey, I'm here." Like, just a great simple poster, but it makes you want to watch it. So that's a great one too.
Yeah, the funny thing is too, when I look back on some of these big franchises, I may like some of some of the posters in like Friday and Halloween and Nightmare, but I just feel like they don't stand out enough in a top 10. You know what I mean? Like I love the Final Chapters poster, but I wouldn't put it in a top 10.
No, no
I
way.
Yeah, and I know you really like Dream Child's poster. If I'm being correct, if I'm being accurate.
Well, I like the video home rental poster, the theatrical poster where it's like it almost looks like it's in space almost with the
Yeah.
cradle. I don't
Hmm.
really That's probably my least favorite of the first. I love the poster for 4, quite frankly. Theatrical release. I like the Junkyard poster with Freddy's head in
Oh
the
yeah.
sky, but the
Mhm.
video store poster I have for the home video release of Part 5, which you can't get a print of that anywhere. I had to buy an original, which thankfully nobody likes the movie, so I got the print very cheap. I mean, I got this original very cheap, but I love that one where it's blue when he's doing this over the baby carriage. That's my favorite Nightmare poster I own. Um, but Part Four's theatrical poster is great. I love the Dream Master poster. That quite frankly was a contender for my list because I think that one's great.
Are you
Pull that
bringing
one
it
up
up?
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I love the
Yeah, it is great.
Junkyard. I
And the
love that.
colors.
And then
I
the
really do like
names
the color.
between on the ground, you see how they put the names and the fonts all between the cuts that Freddy put with his blade on the ground. Very clever. I think
Hmm.
that's a great poster, quite frankly. Quite frankly, for the Nightmare series. I have a
Yeah.
print of that, not a 27 by 40, but I have a 24 by 36. But that's a contender to make it on the main wall in here one day. Love the Dream Master poster.
What's your favorite? Oh, another honorable mention I had before I asked you this question was Silence of the Lambs. And that's a very simplistic poster, but it's very eerie. I always liked that poster, and I never understood it
Yeah.
when I was a kid, and obviously I understand it now. But I always really liked that poster. Very almost haunting. Um, I like it. But I was going to ask you, what's your favorite Friday poster?
Oh, without question. Without
Ah, I knew it.
question.
I knew it.
I mean, how could you not pick Jason Takes Manhattan? That's a great one. I mean, I love that and the New York one are great. But taking that one aside, because that's obviously, uh, I think the Jason Goes to Hell posters pretty fire, no pun intended.
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean, that's a great poster, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would say probably it's funny because I think Goes to Hell is my least favorite Friday movie, but it's probably the best poster. I mean, for me, it's that's a gnarly poster in that franchise.
yeah,
I it for Nightmare for me, this is not a popular opinion, but it might be Freddy's Revenge. Honestly, it really might be. Um, it's either that or Dream Warriors, but I don't know. I've always really dug. Um, I really dig that poster. I
me
don't know
too.
why. I just always
I think
have.
it's yeah. I like the only problem I have with part 3 is some of the kids look really like goofy on the
Yeah.
the Dream Warriors poster. If you really start looking at them, I don't like the way some of the kids look. Freddy looks amazing with his part two's great too. The man of your dreams is back. Great tagline. I like them looking in the mirror and Jesse sees himself as like this almost bionic looking Freddy, quite frankly. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I love the bird in the back because even though it was a small scene in the movie, I love that it was included on the poster.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, obviously the Nightmare series has the pleasure of all being done by the same artist for the first five. So I love the uniform look. They look great next to each other. I've seen some people who have horror collections where they'll have 1 through 5 all next to each other, and they make sense because it's thematic and they match because it's the same artist. So they're all great unto themselves, but when you put them together, they're even cooler looking. But I think between the first 5 theatrically, I think part 4 might be my favorite, but part 2 is great too. I mean, they're all cool. 5 is my least favorite theatrical. I love, like I said, obviously the home video poster. I love, but part 2 and 4 I think are the best. I love part 2 and 4 a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I was surprised. I won't. I'll be honest with you. I was surprised that Halloween 3 didn't make your list, and maybe not the theatrical, but any alternate version of it. I know there's got to be one that is like your favorite for Halloween 3. Like when you think about your quintessential Halloween 3 poster, do you know which one that is?
Um, I mean, probably the American one. I love the art for it, but there's some really great ones. This one's a UK
Yes.
poster.
Yeah.
That's a great one. There's another one with a guy sitting on a chair and his head's exploding. Well,
Hmm.
here I think this is the Australian day bill that gave it everything a red tint. That's really cool. I'm a big fan of that day bill, which I think I can get a print of that if I wanted to. Here it is. This one. I always liked
Yes.
this one because it's really screwed up looking. You can see the blood dripping from beneath the head
Hmm.
device. Their face is literally exploding, and then you see the Silver Shamrock kids right there on
Yep.
the bottom right. So that's a great poster. That's one that I've always really liked, but it's intense looking, man. Like I don't know, that's a rough looking poster. But I
Yeah.
love the theatrical. I love the American theatrical one too. But I don't know. They're all Halloween 3 had some great alternate artwork. This is very punk rock to me with the skeleton. I mean, the witch with her eyes. So they're all great. I love a lot of the Halloween 3 artwork that was done. But I think the American artwork's probably my favorite. I mean, I have an original literally behind my camera right
Yeah.
here. So I mean, I love it. Maybe it's because I see it every day that it would make my list today for my 10 favorites. But it's certainly a favorite of mine without question. I love Halloween 3. The font for the Halloween 3 too. Those big, glossy, chunky letters. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
It'll never get pulled from this horror. Never, ever, ever, ever. Not because it's an original. I mean, it is an original, but because it's Halloween 3. It has to stay without question. It's staying. So
Yeah. Yeah, man. I've always liked it too. I think Scream Factory for both releases they've done when they did the 30th anniversary, I thought that alternate artwork was really cool. And or maybe it was 35th. I think it was 35th anniversary. Yeah. And then or I don't know what I'm talking about. And then the 4K that's coming out. I really like that artwork too. So
I think most fans that have looked into them, I think that's the consensus. I think a lot of people think that the artwork for 3 is the best of the bunch, and I agree with that. You know,
Yeah.
I like 3. I like 5. And I like 3. So,
Yep.
yep. Well, there it is, guys. This was fun. Top 10 favorite horror movie posters. Obviously, please down below let us know your favorites, because whatever you guys say in the comments, if I don't recognize it by name, I'm gonna have to go look them up, because I'm always trying to find good classic artwork for these. I just wish it was done more like this today. I miss the days of commissioning beautiful paintings to represent a film, and telling somebody, hey, go watch this movie and just get inspired and do something with this. It's a lost art. It's very sad that it doesn't get done anymore. I wish it would, but different market, different world now, so it just doesn't happen.
Yep.
But this was fun. Thank you, Nick. Great list. Very fun.
You too, man.
So we appreciate you guys listening. This has been another episode of the Uneeda Horror podcast, early morning edition, obviously. So you can probably tell Nick's got his kid in the background. He's ready for his dad to
He,
go.
he was well behaved though. There was
Yeah.
only like 2 times where
Oh, he was fine. He was fine, but
Yeah.
I could tell he's ready for his dad to get off
Yeah.
the computer. All right, guys, we love you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
This has been a production of the You Need a Horror podcast. You need it, we got it. Thank you for listening.